And the bad news is Brett May is back again, causing big trouble in little Doncaster. So Brett May, after the debacle shenanigans that he caused the other day around the Danny Christie fight that got canned, he has now been calling out Andrew Anthony, who was the promoter. I think Mundo's been pretty much impartial in it, although there was some videos about Brett May threatening him and stuff. Andrew Anthony with some disgusting threats, and Joe Lister and another guy. He said Chris Foley, but I don't know who he is. So I'm going to focus on Andrew Anthony and Joe Lister because I know who both of those are, and they are serious fighting men. So Brett May, after all this came out with the Danny Christie fight, and we've covered that all in a previous video, so we're not going to go too far into that. He made some real threats towards Andrew Anthony, surrounding his house, where his children stay, where his wife is, saying he was going to go to his house, saying he was going to burn the house down. Real serious bad stuff that you wouldn't say this to your worst enemy, in all honesty. And really and truly, there was not much sense in why he was saying this. He was very angry towards Andrew Anthony because Andrew wouldn't come out and make a video saying that Daddy backed out the fight, because it's clear to see that isn't actually what happened. So then the next day, this is yesterday, Brett then went on to record another video later on in the day, and he's saying he wants to fight on 3D Fight Club, a straightener, after saying all these savage threats, which are well over the line, well too far. Even saying bad stuff about people's misses, like he had done for Danny, is well over the line and well too far in the whole YouTube beef. But to then start making active threats, it was like, as the day went on, it was very clear that Brett got more and more intoxicated. He'd had more and more to drink and more flicky, as he has been doing every day over the past couple of weeks, as he goes through his videos. The mouth, the threats, the violence, the anger, the just talking madness, and it just gets worse and worse. So Andrew Anthony then brings out a video the next morning. Brett May's called him and Joe Lister out on 3D Fight Club after making these threats. And Anthony's responded and said, "I'm not fighting you on 3D Fight Club. There's no straighteners. You've made savage threats to my family and we're out looking for you." Joe Lister pops on the camera and goes, "And I'm fucking here if you want it," or words to that effect. And he looks pretty angry. Brett's then brought out other videos saying you need to roll in packs, blah, blah, blah. Of course they do. Of course they're going to. And they're rolling around Doncaster looking for Brett. And it's the same that you would expect from any man who has received a threat in this fashion to his premises, where his kids are, where his wife is. And Andrew Anthony's just absolutely not having it. And Joe Lister had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. I like Joe. I know Joe. I speak to him from time to time. I've made a couple of videos about him before. He's a nice kid. But you're talking about, like, bearing in mind Brett May is fought at a very low level. He's fought at a very low level. You're talking about Andrew Anthony is the Spartan hay bales world champion. He's boxed on street beefs, devastating knockout. Bad to the bone, I believe. Everywhere he goes, it's devastating knockouts. You know, this is a seriously well-trained, and you can see from the shape of him, hard, serious fighting man, an active BKB fighter and hay bales fighter who has got a very good record, very strong record, and a lot of devastating knockouts that I've seen with my own eyes on street beefs. He punched someone out of the ring. And then you're talking about Joe Lister. Now, Joe Lister, there's a little bit more to it, because Joe Lister Brett was training out of Team Valor for a little while with Neil Wayne, which is a gym in Pontefract, I believe, and they are one of the leading bare knuckle gyms in the country. They had Anthony Holmes. Danny's been there to do some training. Danny Christie. You've got Joe Lister. There's other fighters that box out there at a very high level. And Joe Lister is multiple-time amateur champion with a lot of fights behind him. The kid is an absolute freak athlete. He's had a few fights now, boxing matches in MMA gloves, like in the cages. These are all videos that you can go and find, and the kid is a savage. You see him hitting the bag in videos on Instagram, walking, doing handstands, walking on his hands. He does all these ridiculous strength challenges that no one else can do, and he's on top of being a freak athlete, he's a very, very clever, very good fighter. He's not just big and strong. And he's not talking about anymore about Danny Christie, who is 10 stone lighter than him. He's talking about two big blokes. Now, Danny's a fairly big bloke for his size. He's a lot bigger than you expect him to be. He's tall, wide shoulders, long arms and stuff. But like you're talking about, Joe Lister cuts down to get to light heavyweight. I'm sure he said he walks around at about 100 kilos. So he's a heavyweight man, and he's about 6'2", 6'3", and he's built like a fucking tank. And Andrew Anthony is also a heavyweight, I believe, and he's built like a fucking tank. So these are two people that if Brett got in any sort of fighting situation with, would absolutely wipe the floor with him. No doubt. If you think, like, if you're talking about the size difference, anyone who thinks that Brett may beat Danny due to size difference, there isn't a size difference here. Joe Lister is an elite level boxer, an elite level fighter, and Andrew Anthony is a devastating knockout artist. And the thing is with Joe, he was actually training Brett for a short while. There was loads of videos of Joe taking Brett on the pads, and Joe's like laughing throughout. The ones where Brett's going, bye, bye, bye. Joe's like got a big smile on his face whilst he's padding him, because you know what he's thinking. Technique is more or less non-existent, and there's videos of Joe sparring Brett. Now I know sparring's different to fighting, and some people are a lot better in the gym than they are on the night, or vice versa. But when you're in there with someone who is just levels and levels and levels and levels above you, they may only be tapping you and touching you, but they can do it as and when they feel like, and you can't do it to them. And in the videos of the sparring that does get released, Joe Lister is, to say that he's not even out of first gear like Paul Vennis did. He's not even in first gear. He's in reverse, and Brett just cannot get anywhere near him. Joe's just running rings around him, total control of everything that's going on. Joe's just pop, roll, pop, 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 roll, head movement, roll, pop, pop, pop. It's like watching someone who's never done a day's boxing in their life against someone who's an elite level amateur. That's what it looks like. And there's a video actually that I've seen ages ago, before the first Danny Christie fight ever got ranged on Bad to the Bone, where they was doing the camp for that, where Joe stops Brett with a body shot and he barely touches him, he just tucks it in, and they do hurt, and you're talking about a big geezer. But if someone can literally just tuck in a body shot and tap you, and then you get pulled out of the ring, you stop. It's like, this person deals with you so comfortably. Imagine what they'd do to you in a situation when they're actually trying. Like, this isn't a much smaller man with a 10 stone, not small, but a much smaller man with a 10 stone weight advantage. This is someone who's the same height as you, who's in much better shape than you, who's fitter than you, who hits harder than you, who does everything better than you, and is a better boxer than you. And you're talking about having a straightener with him on 3D Fight Club. It's just like, mate, what am I fucking listening to? And as to the threats to the house, these blokes are now out mob-handed apparently looking for you. And these are fighting men, so you think they might just give him a pasting, do you know what I mean? It might not be anything that goes too far and people end up getting seriously hurt. But at the same time, these are the threats that could warrant that. And you would think, obviously I don't want to see that happen to anyone, but at the same time you think, your mouth put you there, do you know what I mean? It's like, you don't want that to happen, but if it did, it's sort of like, well, you was asking for it. Like, Brett's then come back, made a video. Well, he made the video late last night, but uploaded it first thing this morning saying, I spoke to the guys, beef's deaded. Yada, 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 goes on to say a whole load of crap. Basically, the beef's deaded and it's all forgotten about and they've all made up. Andrew Anthony then comes straight back out shortly later on and says, the beef's not fucking deaded. We told you if you made another YouTube video talking about this, it was back on. I feel like they wanted Brett to make a video and apologise, which he fucking should have done. Making videos like that intoxicated, they should have been deleted and apologised the next day straight away. And Andrew Anthony was basically saying Brett rung up backtracking, say, oh, I got this wrong or I got that wrong. And if he spoke about it on YouTube, then things weren't dusted and things weren't settled. And Brett's then come back out again. That video quickly got deleted though, about them deading the beef. Andrew Anthony said beef is not deaded. Brett's then come back out with another video challenging, guess who? Danny again. Talking about KSI, JJ, Misfits. Danny, get the fight on this. He's named the video me versus Danny Christie tomorrow, Carlisle football ground. And then he's saying, oh, and I've spoke to Andrew, I haven't spoke to Andrew Anthony because I don't like him anymore. Like, no, he doesn't like you anymore. And you want to work that you don't fucking bump into him. You like after saying all that stuff and then antagonising him again, making a video about it. I don't know how the land lies with Joe Lister, but if Joe Lister is still angry with Brett and he does get his hand on him, it will be a demolition job, an absolute demolition job. There's no size difference between them two, really. Just the fat, like the same muscle percentage, same height. Brett's just carrying a lot more fat. Joe can fucking run around walking around on his hands, doing handstands from one side of the room to the other. So I'm sure he'll be more than happy to stand Brett on his head. But it just goes to show that still, even after everything that's happened and everything that's out there, Brett's saying there wasn't any money. It's just changing everything that's happened, then saying Danny didn't turn up, then saying Danny did turn up, then saying that there weren't any money, then saying that he's made up with Mundell, but he's angry with Andrew Anthony. But if the money's there, get the money and he'll fight Danny and Carlisle tomorrow, and he'll have the straightener, the stand-up straightener that he was refusing to have in the first place. So he'll have it now, and he's also calling Danny a coke addict. But you've got someone who looks like they've been on coke every day for about the last 2 weeks. Pure, just fucking every day, mate. Just the flicky, or sitting there in the car just like, whoa, no. The next video the next morning is, oh, I'm going to be real now. And then in the night it's, fuck off, I'm going to fucking kill you. And then the next day it's, oh no. Again, it's every day. So it's like, as the day goes on, more drink gets drunk, more flicky gets done, and then the next morning it's, oh, I'm going to be real now. People are just out to get me. And he's then calling Danny a cocaine addict in the video. It's just like, mate, what am I listening to? What am I watching? Anyway, boys, Danny Christie versus Brett, mate, is on tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Carlisle football ground, if the money's there. So let me know what you think. Are they going to fight tomorrow? Has Brett overstepped the mark now by calling out these absolute top elite level fighters, destroyers in his hometown? Or do you think Brett can deal with them all easily? Let me know what you think down below, boys. Adios. Subscribe. La Boche.